It's just gone lunchtime. This is the third and final hour of All Angles here on eNCA. Good afternoon. I'm Masego Rahlaga. It is that time of the day when we give you an update on how far many of the stories we've been following for you throughout the course of the day have advanced. Here's a lunchtime update. Let's bring in our reporters on the ground. Dasen Thathaih is in Durban in KZN, and Heidi Giokos is with us in our Joburg studios. Dasen, let's start with you. You're looking at mass shootings that have happened in KZN this weekend alone. One was a police operation and the other pure criminality. What are KZN residents saying about the increase in gun and drug violence there?
Well, they're worried, Maseko, and I think that's the general sentiment. We've been engaging with not just communities, but also security specialists. We have been talking to the police as well about these shootings that have been taking place. And there's just a sense that they are happening more frequently. And when I talk about these shootings, I'm talking generally about the drive-by shootings that we've been seeing, these mass shootings. And this seems to be a major concern for anyone living here, because it goes beyond just the so-called targets that hitmen are killing. And now also seems to extend to people that are possibly in the vicinity. There's that danger now because these shootings are happening in very public environments. There was a sense, and as part of my conversation earlier with a security specialist, he was saying that there was a time where, for example, if a hitman was after you, they would follow you home and target you at your house. And as bad as that sounds, it's now so much worse, because in many cases, they're not even waiting for these people that they are paid to kill to get to their houses. They're just doing it in public spaces. And the other interesting link now is the issue of drugs, and that seems to be escalating because it's moved beyond just taxi violence and other forms of settling disputes. Because in KwaZulu-Natal, there has been a history of disputes being settled in a very bloody and violent way, and particularly with hitmen being at the center of it. Now, if you add the addition of drugs and these drug wars spilling onto the streets, it's leaving communities feeling very restless and very anxious. A short while ago, we were in Wentworth and we were talking to that community. They've had a number of shootings there. And although these are not official statistics, the activist that we spoke to said that she would conservatively estimate that there were at least 30 shootings in Wentworth this year that she knows about. Let's listen to what she had to tell me about the situation in that community.
We need for government to invest into our organizations as youngsters, you know. Well, there's a lot of unemployment. How do we get the youth employed, you know? We come up with the programs or for EPWs, you know, employ us as youngsters to be able to be part of or run these EPW programs, you know, like working together with crime prevention, you know, helping the youth to be custodians in the different areas where we give them a stipend, you know, so that drug dealers cannot use them, or they won't, they won't be easily influenced, you know, to join gangs or sell drugs, because they do this because they've got nothing, you know, they need to support their families. But we're asking government officials or other stakeholders, because look, the only stakeholder that does play a role here is social development, which is not enough. You know, we need other stakeholders to play their parts also in our community in order to develop our youngsters, in order to get them off the streets.
Heidi, let's come to you. You were at a briefing by the SACP. It's come out with its plans on whether or not it will support the ANC ahead of the elections next year. They've threatened quite a number of times, Heidi, that they would run on their own. What are they saying this time?
Well, the threat is still there, Masego, and what we do understand from the SACP having convened its committee meeting last week, what they've come out to explain is that there are a number of factors that they will consider before they make a decision as to whether or not they will support the African National Congress ahead of the 2024 general elections set to take place next year. What the SACP has indicated is that they want to have a reconfigured alliance with the ANC, touching on a number of issues such as how will the ANC work in a coalition environment, and what exactly they are going to do to address issues that really affect South Africans on a daily. What we were told by the SACP is that they want to make sure that the lives of South Africans are bettered, and there are a number of issues such economic challenges, for example the interest rate going up being a major factor that they want the ANC to try and address before they make a an actual announcement on whether or not they will support the ANC. The threat is still there. We did hear from the SACP that if the ANC does not reconfigure with the alliance, they will contest without the ANC. So they have definitely been very vocal about that, and only time will tell. There is an urgency to engage with the ANC as to whether or not they will agree with this reconfiguration that the SACP is going for. And what we have been told by the SACP is that it is a matter of urgency. They will be meeting with the ANC top six very soon to try and find a way forward. But the threat is still definitely there. Let's listen to what the SACP told us earlier.
The reconfiguration of the alliance at the moment is not something we will go back from. You can see that future collaboration and cooperation, particularly on the platform of contesting joint elections, will be based on the reconfiguration of the alliance. And we have said if this is not possible, we will go to the second modality of the Left Popular Front. In other words, we will then contest without the ANC. That's what it means. So we have reached the point of further discussions. What we are going to discuss are the proposals we have made to be the basis of what will constitute an effective reconfiguration of the alliance in practice. And we have outlined those conditions.
All right, let's in fact bring in Pule Letshwiti-Jones, who is in the city of Tshwane, into this discussion. Pule, the former Tshwane Mayor Moruna Makwarela granted 10,000 Rand bail. He appeared in the Specialized Commercial Crimes Court in Pretoria and is facing fraud charges for submitting a fake insolvency rehabilitation certificate. He pled not guilty. Why?
Well, essentially, Dr. Moruna Makwarela has always said that he's done nothing wrong. In fact, he says that he's waiting for the court outcomes to prove that he's done nothing wrong. But he handed himself over to the Brooklyn police station in the morning. And you are quite right to say he's facing charges of fraud and uttering, which involves not having disclosed his fake insolvency certificate, and of course in his capacity as a councillor with that fraudulent certificate, having received money to the tune of about 1.45 million in terms of wages as well. So this matter is currently being probed by relevant law enforcement agencies. But of course he dropped a bombshell in his affidavit in court saying that he was coerced into hiding his insolvency certificate by some of senior ANC officials. And I'm getting reaction from the ANC in the city of Tshwane here. We're speaking to George Machila. George, thank you very much for chatting to us. Now, firstly, Dr. Moruna Makwarela, once backed by the ANC and other parties, including the EFF as well, but now he's throwing the ANC under the bus, saying you coerced him into actually proceeding ahead with this insolvency certificate, which was fraudulent and fake.
Well, thank you very much, Pule and the viewers. I think it's very unfortunate that the person at the level of Dr. Makwarela, who's a PhD graduate, can really say he has been coerced into submitting something that is fraudulent. I mean, it's very unfortunate. The ANC cannot do such a thing. I mean, in his own capacity as a doctor, he should have seen that the thing that he was submitting was fraudulent. I mean, how do you coerce a person above your level to submit such a thing?
But it's not the first time these allegations have surfaced or emerged. We saw it on Twitter as well through an account, and one of the leaders of the ANC, Hoshimaya, a former chairperson of the ANC in Tshwane, said it was fake. So clearly this must have come to your attention.
No, it's fake. I think Dr. Makwarela maybe is just making an excuse on the basis that it was once there on a social media platform. So it can be. I don't think a person of Dr. Mahepa's caliber can really coerce a person into submitting something that is clearly fraudulent and, amateurish. That thing, if you look at it, I mean, at face value, you'll see that that thing cannot be taken serious by any person.
And what do you make of the arrest? I mean, this is one candidate you were strongly backing before, but it seems as though you've taken a different posture right now, not supporting him or not being there present in court as well when he was appearing before the Specialized Commercial Crimes Court.
Well, fraud is a very serious commission of crime. It should be taken very serious, and I think it's proper that the police acted properly to arrest him. It's a very serious thing.
Just lastly, before I let you go, of course, there's a petition by the DA to try and oust the council speaker, and they're saying that if they don't remove the speaker, Mr. Nzwanana, the capital could be placed under administration. Is this something you're looking into as the ANC caucus to block that petition by the DA?
Well, it is unfortunate that the DA would want to create a mockery of council. I mean, for the longest period of time, they are the ones who have been saying we are wasting time because the focus should now be service delivery. They are now starting with wanting to remove somebody who has been democratically elected. And that might create another problem wherein the ANC itself at a later stage might want to put in a motion. So it can't be motion against motion. We need to focus and ensure that we focus on doing service delivery to our people.
Thank you very much. That's the Regional Secretary of the ANC in the city of Tshwane, Mr. George Machida, saying it's quite unfortunate that that information was disclosed during Mr. Makwarela's affidavit in court today, in which he said that, or rather alleged that he was influenced by some of the ANC councillors in submitting that certificate.
That was your eNCA lunchtime update with reporters Dasen, Thathaih, Heidi Giokos, as well as Letshwiti-Jones. Let's leave it there.